Do you catch yourself falling in love every time you talk to someone new? Or perhaps you convince yourself you found the one as soon as you get a bit of attention. If this sounds like you, stick around. Many of you connected with our previous video on obsessive love, which is why today we're diving deeper into why some people fall in love so quickly and frequently. By understanding these patterns, you can gain insight into your own tendencies and work towards building healthier, more balanced relationships moving forward. So let's begin. 1. You are conditioned for romance or emotional promiscuity. People with Emophilia tend to dive headfirst into relationships, often leading to emotional burnout or heartbreak. This pattern involves a strong desire for romance and connection rather than fear of loneliness, which means that while you may feel deeply in love, the relationships often don't last. Over time, this can leave a trail of fleeting romances and emotional turmoil. According to a 2015 study by Jones, Emophilia can be linked to sociosexuality, where individuals engage in short-term romantic relationships but struggle to form deeper, long-lasting connections. This behavior tends to be associated with a lack of emotional fulfillment from brief romantic encounters, leading to a cycle of romantic highs and lows. 2. Sociosexuality. Have you ever found yourself quickly developing strong feelings for someone, especially in casual or short-term relationships? This could be linked to sociosexuality. Sociosexuality refers to how open a person is to engaging in sexual relationships without emotional commitment. Some people have higher sociosexuality due to factors like personality traits, past experiences, or even biological influences. Those with higher sociosexuality tend to engage in more casual relationships, which means they're constantly experiencing the excitement of new romantic encounters. As a result, they may feel a rush of emotions each time, making it seem like they're always falling in love, even if the connection is brief. 3. Anxious attachment. Another factor is anxious attachment. People with this attachment style are often in search of love and reassurance, feeling the need to be loved all the time. This can lead them to quickly bond with others, even if it's not a deep connection. A 2016 study by Jones and Curtis found that anxious attachment styles often lead individuals to idealize early romantic connections, making them fall in love easily, even with minimal emotional investment from the other party. If this feels familiar and you're wondering why you have an anxious attachment, don't worry. Stick with us until the end and we'll explain. 4. Limerence, the obsession with love. Then there's limerence, an obsessive feeling where you desperately want someone to want you. It's not necessarily love, but the intense craving for emotional reciprocation. According to Dorothy Tenoff, limerence can have 3 possible outcomes. Consummation, you end up together. Starvation, your feelings aren't returned. And transference, you shift your obsession onto someone new. While limerence can feel like love, it's actually driven by a need for emotional validation rather than a genuine connection. Research in the Journal of Police and Criminal Psychology found that limerence, when left unchecked, can lead to obsessive behavior. People fixate on the idea of love, often at the expense of real emotional connection, which can be emotionally draining and damaging over time. You might be thinking, this sounds like me, but why do I experience limerence? Stick around until the end to find out. We're almost there, just a sec. 5, the pressure to find love. We live in a world that constantly reinforces the idea that love is essential for happiness. From fairy tales to romantic comedies, love is portrayed as the ultimate goal. So, it's understandable to feel like you should be in love, especially if you find yourself constantly aware of being single. This societal pressure can create a hyperfixation on finding a partner. But when the relationship doesn't work out, it can leave you feeling emotionally drained. A 2024 study by Van Dyke and colleagues explored how the pressure to form relationships can lead to emotional instability. They found that people who feel societal pressure to be in a relationship may rush into romantic situations without considering whether it's truly a match, leading to a pattern of unhealthy love-seeking behaviors. 6. You crave the feeling of love. Let's be honest, falling in love feels amazing. The rush of emotions, your heart racing, your cheeks flushing, it's addictive. The chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin that flood your brain make everything feel exciting and warm. But when you crave that feeling too often, it can become a cycle of constantly chasing that love high. For some people, emotional lust can amplify this craving. You may envision a future with someone you barely know, experiencing intense longing for a relationship that hasn't even formed yet. This feeling is intoxicating, but it can also be a temporary escape from loneliness. And just like a drug, it can become addictive. Studies have shown that the same brain circuits activated by love are also involved in addiction, leading to a pattern of falling for people easily. Bradbury and others found that the neurochemicals activated by emotional lust, such as dopamine and serotonin, are similar to those involved in addiction. This can create an ongoing cycle of wanting to experience that high, making it difficult to establish long-term emotional connections that go beyond surface-level attraction. 7. The effects of childhood experiences. Do you often find yourself getting intensely fixated on someone early in a relationship, wondering if they feel the same way? Or maybe you feel a constant need for reassurance and fear that they might not truly care, even when they show affection. If you nodded along with those questions and also resonated with the points about anxious attachment and limerence that we talked about earlier, this might answer your question. Your childhood experiences play a significant role in how you experience love. Childhood trauma or neglect can shape your attachment style. If you grew up feeling emotionally neglected, you might be more prone to quickly attaching to someone who seems even remotely reliable. This can create an intense need for love and care, leading you to fall in love easily with someone who may not always be the best match for you. Childhood trauma can also result in fear of abandonment, making you cling to relationships quickly. Research by Van Dyke and others highlighted the connection between childhood trauma and the development of anxious attachment, leading to emotional dependency in adulthood. People with such backgrounds may rush into relationships to fill the emotional gaps left by earlier experiences, resulting in a pattern of falling in love too easily and experiencing limerence. 8. Sexual desire versus love, the Don Juan complex. For some, a strong sexual drive can create the illusion of love. The Don Juan complex refers to men who pursue multiple sexual partners and may confuse sexual desire with love. Hypersexuality or nymphomania can lead to a constant craving for romantic experiences, but this doesn't mean these feelings are true love. Lust can sometimes be confused with love, and this initial attraction can create a false sense of falling in love. Research from 2017 showed that individuals with a Don Juan complex may mistake sexual attraction for emotional connection. This creates a pattern of quickly falling in love based on physical attraction alone, rather than deeper emotional bonds. 9. Loneliness and emotional promiscuity. Loneliness can also contribute to falling in love too easily. When you're overly aware of your loneliness, you may rush into relationships to fill the void. This is common, but for some, loneliness can lead to emotional promiscuity, a pattern where they fall in love with everyone they meet, preventing them from forming stable, long-lasting relationships. Relationships may come and go, leaving you feeling more isolated. It's an ongoing cycle of searching for love that never truly fulfills you. Studies on loneliness have shown that individuals who feel chronically lonely are more likely to enter into relationships quickly, even when they aren't emotionally ready. This behavior often stems from a desire to fill the emotional void left by loneliness, rather than a true connection with the other person. And 10. Borderline personality disorder. People with borderline personality disorder, BPD, often fall in love quickly because of the intense emotions they experience. For them, relationships can feel like a lifeline, providing the validation, safety, and security they crave. When someone shows them attention or affection, it can feel overwhelming and all-consuming, triggering a rush of emotions. This can lead to idealizing the person and jumping into love more easily than others might. The fear of abandonment, which is common in BPD, also plays a role. They may quickly label someone as their favorite person in an effort to secure that emotional connection and avoid feelings of emptiness and rejection. So it's not necessarily about rushing into love for the sake of it, but rather about the deep emotional need for connection, safety, and reassurance. So, do you fall in love easily? While it can be exciting and optimistic to see love everywhere, it can also lead to heartbreak. Love is a beautiful thing, but it's important to ensure that you don't lose yourself in the process of seeking it. Whether you're navigating limerence, childhood trauma, or the addictive rush of love, it's essential to stay aware of these patterns and protect your emotional health. What do you think, Psych2Goers? Have you recognized any of these patterns in yourself? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. Good luck.